wager me this. I'm gonna put this in my holder here really quick. We're looking at the craps table. I'm gonna talk to y'all. Um, Again, 3-0 national title game tonight. Hit all the bets. The North Carolina +4 got shaky at the end there. They were up 15 at the half and ended up losing by 3. That has to be the ultimate just crash and burn. Uh, Honestly, that's really, it's kind of insane that they wrecked that hard. Uh, hey George from CY, how are you, buddy? It's just kind of a crazy thing to lose after being up by 15, but it happens. That's why you take them points, though. I'm getting my computer set up, guys. That way I don't have to keep looking at the phone. So just give me just a second here. We'll probably play some craps too, just for the cool up, because I like to play craps. Sorry to hear about the loss. I didn't lose. um, let's get this going. When you can't spell a loss. I have been on a little hot streak, that's for sure. There's no doubt about that. Uh, definitely been killing it. A lot of people supporting me, so it's always nice. I love giving out good winners because, maybe some people are making some money. Believe it or not, it hurts me when I miss because I know people are trusting me. It really does. That's it right there. Good job, man. My whole thing, guys, is I take this very seriously, and not just because people pay me for it. Because the ones that I give out for free, I take just as seriously. Um, and the reason being is because I know that there's a group of people out there that trust me and trust my research and trust my process. And when I miss, guys, it hurts my feelings because I'm like, dang, if I missed, they probably missed. And so when I have really great runs and good nights like this, it's exciting for me because I'm hoping that other people got on it and made some money and did good. That's right. And that's the thing is, guys, in sports betting, if you're going to give out picks and you're going to put your name out there saying, "Hey, I know my stuff," you better be winning because it's all you got. All you have is how good are you? And tomorrow, if I go 0-4, I'm a piece of crap then, So you got to keep it up. It's a it's a tricky thing, and if you're going to put it out there as as the as saying you're good at it, you better be good at it. It's kind of like stock market advice. Don't be giving out stock market advice if you don't know what you're talking about. But anyway, so it was a crazy game. I still don't understand how North Carolina blew that lead, but Kansas came. Yeah, Kansas came to play in the second half. I think North Carolina kind of was complacent at the first part of it. I don't know. And the Love kid didn't have, a great game either. I don't really care who won because I wasn't on either side of it as far as like fandom. Both of my teams lost. So, uh, as far as the fandom, I was just on the betting side of it and I just wanted to stay within four. And we kind of got lucky at the end a little bit. And at the same time, kind of got unlucky. We kind of got unlucky on the 3 or 4 lay-ins that missed right there at the end. And then we got lucky when the guy stepped out of bounds for us. So, whatever. I mean, in the big scheme of things, North Carolina won the first half by 15. And then, yeah, betting wise, it was great. There was a lot. I'll say something about this NCAA tournament. There was a lot of big teams playing each other that had big spreads, which was unusual to me. Like I'm talking like your Power Five schools playing against each other with 9-point spreads. It was just an odd thing to me this year. Normally it doesn't seem like it's like that, and maybe I'm just, it's recency bias type of thing, but I don't know. Like it felt like there was larger spreads this year than normal when it was the Power Five schools against Power Five schools. I get it when it's a mid-major versus a Power Five, or you got like an 8 versus a 1 like today, but this is only a 4-point spread. But honestly, was North Carolina a true 8? No. I would say they probably should have fell on the 3-4 line, but their early season woes kind of put them where they were at. But just kind of like I don't really think Providence was a 3, even though they made it as far as they did. I think they were a 3, right? And they beat a lot of big teams throughout the season, but I feel like in the tournament, maybe they're not a 3. I don't know. Sports, the way they do those seedings is tricky. You got teams that shouldn't really be there, but they won their tournament, or, like Richmond. Should Richmond have been there? No, probably not. But they win their tournament, so they get in, and it's great. That's what makes it a great tournament. You have teams like St. Peter's. Look what St. Peter's did. They kind of turned the tournament on its head by winning all those games against all those big seeds. So, I mean, it was great. A great tournament, great fun. 2 blue bloods at the end. Pretty good game overall, I'd say. It was a good one. And I went 3-0 on the national title day, so that's even better. Oh, but yeah, especially because Enslow texts me at the half, and he's like, "Hey, should I lay this North Carolina off? I've already won. I'm already in." And I was like, "No, there's no way Kansas beats them by 20 in the second half," and it almost happened. It almost happened. I was like thinking he's gonna talk crazy to me. Yeah, George. One of these days I'll get you versed on all the sports betting stuff. Uh, but yeah, I'm actually gonna. I got $600 sitting here in a rack here with 600 fake dollars, but they're real dollars after today's 3-0. So, but I'm gonna do something really quick here. Something that this is kind of an exercise type of thing. When I told you guys that there's times when I practice that I play a thing I call all in all the time, and it teaches me to manipulate the bets to where I always have a way out. Like whether I'm using the don't or whatever lay bets or something, all in all the time. But there's also another thing where I practice where I'm training myself to go for it, right? I'm training myself to press no matter what. Not full presses, because I don't think full presses are the right way to play, but like half presses. So I train myself to do it as well. And it's how I've kind of taught myself to tower numbers and do different things like that. And what I do is I start low, like 96 across, 88 inside, something like that. And I try to memorize the presses, like where do I want to get to 60, this and that. And it gives you an idea. What do you want to do in the first 5 rolls, in the first 10 rolls, if the roll goes that long? And what do you want to do after that? Do you want to get super aggressive? Do you want to press less and collect more? There's all those things are involved, and I think it has to do with how far are you already in profit. Because if you're already heavily in profit, in my opinion, there's no reason to not go for it heavier. Now, if you're just barely in a profit, maybe you get a little more conservative on your pressing and build that profit bank up to where if it does die early, your next roll, you're playing with profit. So what I like to do a lot of times is I start with a $30 6 and 8. All right, I just randomly roll them. And guys, I actually prefer to practice randomly rolling them because that's what most of the rolls you're going to see at the craps table are. They are completely random. Can I show you how to play? I can do my best. I have a lot of videos that'll help with that. All right, so we'll be off on the come out, and I try to play how the most consistent way possible, right? Like what you see the most. So I try to be off on the come out, and then I attack from there. Here we go. Hard 6. All right, hard 6. Well, that doesn't look great, does it? Sorry about that. I don't really have a choice on that light. It's kind of that way. All right, so now we're looking. It is addicting. Yeah, that's very true. And there's a 10. And so I try to build out from here. And this is just what I do to practice, guys. I try to train myself. There's another hard 6. All I'm doing is I'm trying to train myself to when I'm at the table to make it muscle memory, right? Right, so what's my first goal? Is my first goal to build the 6 and 8 or to move out to the 5 and 9? That's something you want to decide. What's your first goal? Do you want to spread or do you want to tower first? All right, normally I like to spread first, all right? And I like to spread in pyramid style. By pyramid style, what I mean is I'm okay if the 6 and 8 are bigger than 5 and 9, and the 5 and 9 can be bigger than the 4 and 10. All right, and it has to do with the payouts. All right, we're off on the come out, and there's a 6. Well, we are crushing the 6. And a 5. All right, so we hit our spread. All right, here we go. $21 winner. Enzela just texted me, but I can't see it. All right, so right here, I have 21. I'm only going to collect the 6. And the reason being, in this case, is because if I was at the table, this is the way I would play it. I would get that 9 picked up, right? Now, I still need another hit to probably get my money out of the roll. And if you're playing like a 3 hits type of style, turn your bets off. Turn your bets off right here. Play how you would at the casino. And we got a 4, 3, 1. But you do this repeatedly. You do 10 shooters a day doing this. There's a 1, 2, 3. You do 10 shooters a day doing this. When you get to the craps table, it'll become more like habit. And there's the 8. Nice. $35 winner. All right. So now, before we can get to the 4 and 10, because I play like I'm playing $15 tables, we got to get that 5 and 9 pressed to a quarter. And the great thing is we can trade that out, and we still racked enough. Now we're at 110. Maybe you turn off here. And these are all things that I practice. How am I going to be playing when I'm at the casino? All right, there's a 7, so we lost there. It looks like we are going to be down like $20. All right, on that run. So now I look at it. Okay, so that run I pressed, hit a bunch of times. I still ended up down $20. So that means there needs to be an adjustment in it, right? And these are all things I think about when I'm doing this. All right, so maybe the adjustment is I start with the 5 and 9. I know people are like, well, why wouldn't you just, play less money or whatever, or collect more? Well, because remember, the first 3 rolls are where you want to live if you're playing light side. So here we go. We're off on the come out. We got an 8 square pair. There's those guys. Like and subscribe to Square Pair Craps if you have not. Go check them out. hard 4. Hard 8, hard 4. We've seen a bunch of hard 6s. Stuff you need to be keeping in mind maybe beyond the hard ways. And there's an easy 4. Missing out on those big hitters there. 6, 5, 1. Okay. Am I rolling too fast? No. So this is going to win 35. All right. So we only pressed $10 there. So we got to collect a little bit. It's nice. And there's the 8. Nice. That's the point. 6 deuce 8. It's going to win $35. And guys, this is just, I'm not necessarily playing a strategy. This is just me working out. It's in the craps table. And by working out, I mean like lifting craps weights, you know, like I'm training myself. That way, when I'm at the casino, it's all muscle memory. It's all, there's no thinking about it. I know exactly what I want to do, how I want to press it. There's a come out roll 11. That way, number one, you keep the game going is a big part of it. But also, you're not confusing anything. You know what's coming back to the rack. You know what's going into the game. There's not a lot of thinking involved then. It's just playing. All right, here we go. And there's the 6. It's 35. All right. So we got the 110 built. Oh, come back here. The quarter went way over there. Now here, do you want to jump all the way out to the 4 and 10? Or are you just going to start with 1? I'm just going to start with the 10. Rack that up. Again, if your strategy is to just a couple hits and down, shut this off, wait till the 7, start over with that build. You know, if that's how you're playing, if that's the style you're going to be playing, don't deviate from what you do just to practice. You should practice what you do. Right, there's the 10. That's going to win 27. It's a good one. All right, we're going to pick up the 4. Now, you've spread all across the numbers. Looks like you have your rack pretty well situated. You got good profit on the board. You got a good attack on the board. Now you can start doing some other things. Now you can start maybe moving into the hard ways. You can start maybe getting a hit, moving into the don't. You know, satisfying your 7 there. You could start a come progression. You could start a field parlay. There's a lot of things you can do. And these are all things I practice. So like if my first goal was this, to cover all the numbers. Second goal might be, okay, I want to build the hard ways to $10 a piece. Third goal might be, hey, I need a don't bet. All these things can happen pretty quickly. And there's a 3, 2, 1, 3. And again, if your strategy is to turn off, turn off. Square pair again, there's those guys. Let's go with 35. Okay, so the hard ways have been so hot. I'm going to go in and take $20 and put one on the hard ways, $5 on each hard way. Right? They've been hot. We've been hitting them. Let's see if we can keep it going. And there's another hard way, but it's the hard 12. That's not going to help. They don't have a hard way for that. And the 4, that's the easy 4, but that's cool. It's $27. This is going to fall. 22, 27. Replace that. Remember, we still want to press, guys. We're not going to quit pressing. So we're going to bump that 4 and that 10. We're still racking chips. Here we go. Can we get a hard way? Oh, we lost. Okay. But we made it to another level of what our practice is. And this is all things that, okay, so I know it took me a while to get to the hard ways. Even when I started with all the inside numbers, it still took me a little while to get to the hard ways. So that means that I'm a little slow. My speed of strategy is, my speed of the practice, like what I'm trying to do is slow, right? It's taking too many rolls. If you're taking too many rolls, it means it's unlikely to get where you want to go. All right, so how do you remedy that? Well, we could play bigger so we can press more. We could do that. Or we could play a don't bet, which is going to eliminate some of the 7 damage. What's up, fives? So all these things can be done while you're doing this practice. All right, so what do we have? It looks like we are dead even. All right, not bad for just practicing. All right, so this time I want it to go a little faster. So this time I'm gonna double my bets on the 6 and 8, and I'm gonna take my 5 and 9 to 25. All right, so it's still the same play we did last time. It's just bigger. So now maybe this time when I press, if I roll the 6 or 8 and I win 70, I can put 15 on the 4 and 10 on the first hit. You know, if I roll it, I could play the hard ways all in the first hit. All right, so it's changing. You're changing the speed of your strategy. How fast does your strategy get to where you want? That's the speed of it, the rate at which it should operate. All right, so let's see what we got. Coming out, everything's off. There's a 4, that's the point. Oh, we got beat up. 7. Okay, so I want to talk about something right here. So we went up in value and we lost. Is that any different than being, hey, hello, is that any different than being at 110 and losing? No, it's not. And people are going to say, well, yeah, but you lost more money. Guys, I've said this before and other people have repeated it. Strategy is how you create wins, and bankroll is how you suffer losses. Is how you, and not suffer is the wrong word. It's how you live through the losses. So your bankroll has to match what you're doing. All right. If your bankroll isn't large enough, then you need to do a different strategy, or you need to scale it down. So these are all the things that matter when you're building strategies, when you're creating strategies, when you're practicing like we're doing. So here we go. I'm going to go right back up. 7 doesn't bother me. We're trying to figure out what we're doing. All right, there's a 5 on the come out. We're trying to figure out the speed. At what rate do we want this to operate? Can we get through it? Nope, we got smacked again. All right, that's 2 PSOs. That's ugly. All right, it looks like in the rack we have one more try at this. All right, so now this can also teach you something else. Is it too risky? It can also teach you that. It can also teach you that maybe the strategy is just too risky. All right, do I think this is too risky? No, this is still just like 110 inside or 44 or 22 inside. It's still just the same thing. It's just the dollar amount is different. All right, the risk levels never changed. And there's the 6. We just happened to get 2 bad runs right there. All right, maybe 3 right here. I don't know. We'll see. And wow, that's 3 PSOs in a row with 3.7s in a row that are 6-1s. Sorry. That's kind of crazy. It was all the same 7. That's kind of nuts. All right, so man, our 600 got wiped out. All right. Again, do I think that's, man, should I just run away from the strategy? No. I don't think there's a problem with it. I think that we just had a spike in PSOs. We had 3 in a row. So I don't think that spike's going to keep going on forever. So what would I do? If I was at the actual craps table, I would get $500 more and do the same thing. All right, so this is what I would actually do at the craps table. And that's the way you should practice. You should practice the way you actually play, not the way that you see fives play, or Waylon or George from CY, or whoever, whether it's Color Up, whether it's... So these are all things that I practice. And guys, I practice this daily. I practice playing dice daily. Sometimes I practice strategy. Sometimes I practice shooting the dice. And I don't consider myself a dice controller shooter, but I still practice it because it's part of the game. And I want to see kind of where I'm at. All right, here we go, coming out. And we got an 11, so we're still coming out. And we got a 6, yay. Let's see if we can get a number here. Can we get a winner? Yay, we hit a point. Hit the 6. Oh, come on out of that. 6, all right, so we won $70 this time finally. Nice. I'm going to put this blue chip up here, guys. That way we know I took a $500 marker. Because I want to keep that in mind. All right, so do I want to spread out to the 4 and 10? Do I want to bump the 5 and 9? Do I want to bump the 6 and 8? Do I want to play the hard ways? These are all things in the practice. I always like to spread out first. Generally, I say always, most of the time. All right, here we go, coming out. We got a 5 as the new point. All right, so this time, instead of going after the hard ways, I'm going to try to tower my 6 and 8. That's what I'm going to try to do. And there's a yo. Whoa. And a 3. Wow, these horns are coming. See a horn, bet a horn. 4. All right, nice. 3, 1. We're going to drop $1. We're going to get 50. So we want to tower our 6 here. Try to go up on it. Still want to rack every time. You want to rack something. Oh, 7 out. All right, so what are we noticing besides the PSOs? We're noticing that maybe these shots are going a little shorter. All right. So if you're practicing, do you make a change at the craps table? Would you make a change? Would you start playing for the 7? If you would, then do it however you choose to do it. Like, what is your style of playing for the 7? All right, I'm going to lay the 10 for 200, and I'm going to play a $75 don't, and we're going to come on out. Hey, Waylon. Here we go. 9. All right. The 9. Because we've been hitting far too many early outs. All right. Let's take the 10 down. It did its job. All right. Got us through on the 9. Let's go the 135 style here. We've got 75 on the don't, so we need to make it cover the 135. We put 75 in odds, that's only covers 125. For some people, that'll be okay. For me, it's not, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to just throw a quarter in the come, and that will cover me on the 7 for this first roll. Here we go. Square pair, there those guys are again. Square pair buddies. All right, so this is going to travel to my 8. I'm going to win 35. And take that, stack that on the 6. There we go. Now I don't got to worry about it anymore. You could. We could just keep this come progression going. $30 in the come. It's always a 7 winner, so it's nice. And there's the 7 right there. So we knew early 7. We played for it. So that's pretty good. Had an idea that it was probably coming early. Nice, nice, nice. Good job. Hello. I don't know if we won or lost there. I think we might have lost just a little bit because I pressed the 6 instead of pulling the 8 down. All right, so let's try it again. Right here. Let's go with the 4 this time. And let's hop the 7s as well. All right, so this is a hop 7s bet. I'll put it right over here. See what happens here. Maybe we smack it. No, we got beat up on the 4. Now that's, guys, honestly, that's just kind of unlucky. We lost the 200 there. There. I just rolled this 4, guys. I'm just going to go right up on the odds on it. So let's get a quarter there. That way I know how much I got. 40. So it's 150. 170. Okay, 170 in odds. Here we go. Got to try to get some of this money back. And 7. That's another early 7. All right, here we go. That was ugly loss there. So what was that? 150, 170. Okay. All right, there we go. Let's try this again. This time we're gonna void the don't lay. I mean the lay bet. Sorry, we're just gonna hop the 7s, but we're also going to throw a quarter in the field. And this is just, maybe I'm trying to double this. You know, where I say, okay, I'm gonna turn that into my 5 and 9. And these are all things that I just practice, guys. I just repeat this process and practice these things. Now I lost it. Not a huge deal. Quarter investment to get 2 bets for 1. I'm gonna go 90 on the 6 here. $150, $175. Let me get some reds. What does a hop 7 pay? 15 to 1. 180. Here we go. Hopefully we missed that 8. No! Ouch. Ouchie. Beat up. So these are all practice. This is all practice stuff. This is all practice stuff. That's why you practice. All right, I'm going to jump over here on the pass line, and I'm going to take these $4. I'm going to put them on the 11. All right. These are all things that I would do. And there's the 7. Okay. Let's split it like a C and E bet. Hello, everybody. All right. Can we get some money back? Let's just do that first, right? There's another 7, so it's just going to be a wash right here. Split it like a C and E bet again. A lot of 7s. Ugh. There's a 4. It's really not what we were after. We really wanted an 11. All right, so we got the 4 and the 6. We could break that 6 up and play other numbers, but we're just going to ride it out on the 6. Let's see if we can get a winner. There's a 5, okay. Can we get a 6? A 3, okay. A square pair, there's a lot of square pairs. 7 out, so all the way crashed. That's 1,100 total. 1,100 total down for our practice. Not the best situation. Didn't do so good, obviously. But again, so we saw some rate the speed of the strategy wasn't fast enough, right? When we were trying to press across. It's one of the things that I personally dislike about the light side, is that when you're trying to press and build, it's not quick enough. It doesn't happen fast enough before the 7 should come, right? Before you're in the really hot 7 range. And it's one of the reasons why I like to play bigger early. Now, it didn't work here today, but I do prefer to play bigger early and then play with profit late and no risk at all. And that's one of the reasons, is because it takes a long time, and by a long time I mean multiple rolls to build out. And that's one of the things why I prefer to play. Like if I have, this is my ideal play for the first 3 rolls. I'm going to show this. All right, if I have the $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 to play with, this is my ideal play right here. This is what I like to do. So the reason I like to do this is because the first 3 rolls, as long as I don't get a 7, as long as there's not a 7, I can't win less than $75 per roll. And so it's 125, 150, 150, and 75. And I know this is the Iron Cross, a lot of people don't like it. But if you're only going to play it for 3 rolls, and you can make it through the 3 rolls, worst case scenario, you're going to have $225 in profit that you can turn around and invest in the game however you like to play, whatever you prefer. And so this is my ideal way to play. All right. Now, again, that's expensive. That's $500 in one play. That's at risk to the 7, right? That's $500 per play. So you got to have a legit bankroll. But on the flip side of that, if you make it through 3 rolls, and you no longer have to play this way. So I'll try to show this right here. I'll try to show it, see if it'll let me make it through 3 rolls. All right. So let's say there's $3,000 you're playing with. So there's 500, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. All right. So I'm just going to use these. If we lose this, I'll throw it back out there. We'll keep the profit to the side. All right. So if you make your first setup out here, right? If you make it 3 rolls, you take that down, you probably never have to touch your $3,000 again. All right, so let's see what happens. Everything's working. We got a 9. 6 tray 9. Right? Point. Doesn't really matter about the point. We're going to win $75. Let's move this over. So that's roll number 1. 9 again. Okay. Back to back. All right. Roll number 2. This is our last roll. Everything's working. What do we got? And a 12. Perfect. So that's going to win $150. Some places that's going to win $225. All right. So now that was the 3rd roll. Now we're going to take down our initial 500. We're going to take it down. All this. Put it over here with our initial 3,000. And then you have all this to play with for free. And this is the situation I like to be in. And then I like to take this and say, okay, what is the best case scenario here? Right? So 96 across, 96 across, 96 across. I get 3 shooters at 96 across with no risk to my bankroll. And this is where the situation I like to try to get myself into, where I can get craft specific plays. This is what I refer to as a craft specific play, like 96 across, 64 across, 44 inside, 88 inside. Those kind of craft specific plays, 110 inside. I like to try to get myself to them and then play from there. All right, so here we go. We got 3 tries at 96 inside now, or 96 across now. Drop our 100, say we want 96 across. And if you're not playing the line, if you're just playing on other people, you're going to get your 4 change. I like to go on and put this right here on the horn. Here we go. You can work it or not work it, whatever you want to do. It's up to you. It's free play, essentially. All right, here we go. I'm going to be working. And there's the 11. Okay. This is going to win $15 right there. All right, if I roll the horn, guys, I'm going to press it. I'm going to take it to 16. It's 4 on each number. And the 6. No big deal. Horn lost. That was $4. That was all free money. Point. We're going to win 21. And remember, this is all free, so you can press. And this is the situation I prefer to be in. And there's the 10. $27 winner. I like to be playing for free. Re-rack all this. All right, next shot. And there's the 7. Did that really matter? Not really. I mean, we didn't get all of our money back, but remember, it was all profit. All right, so guys, I'm going to leave the 96 across out here. We're going to drop $100. We're going to go right back up. Same thing, horn bet. Everything's working. And we got a 7, so that's worst case scenario, obviously. Drop our next $100. Everything's working. You don't have to play it this way. You guys could play the line and try to play for 7s. That's all up to you. But I'm just saying that this is things that you can do when you're playing with profit. All right. $15. Take it to 16 on the horn. 4 each number. Here we go. And the 5, okay. Take that up. You jump over here and grab this $1. Right here. And the 9. Yeah, it's going to win 21. I'm going to rack this. Remember, we're playing for free, so however you'd like to play it for free. There's the 11. And 7 out. Okay. So now we don't have enough on this next shooter to play our 96 across. Let's see what we have. What do we have? $46. I probably at this point I'll throw it all in the field. I don't know. Because again, I'm playing with all casino money here. So maybe I would just try to double my money in the field here. Let's see what happens. We did not. It was trying to, but it did not. It's a 5. Okay, no big deal. And guys, this is what I'm just going to stop here on this. All I was doing is showing like the way I prefer to play and why I like to play that big iron cross at first, because whether you go 1 roll, 2 rolls, 3 rolls, whatever, if you just do it at 1 roll, you're going to win $75. So if you win $75, you can go 66 inside, or for the don't players, you can take that $75 profit and you can throw 25 on the line. No, I'm not. I'm just showing practice. I'm not trying to show a strategy here. I'm just showing what I like to do. This was never a strategy video. I was just showing practice. I was showing just kind of what I think about when I'm practicing. Like the guys, two things that I really think about the most are the rate of how fast is your strategy. Now, if you're playing dark side, that doesn't matter. The rate doesn't matter, right? Really, honestly, the only thing that matters if you're playing just pure dark side is getting to a number where you win on the 7. That's really all that matters. After that, you're the favorite, so you just kind of got to hope that you're it's rolling correctly. Um, but the other thing I pay a lot of attention to is how many hits is it going to take to get to where I want to be? And where whatever it is you do, whatever it is you play at the craps table, where do you want to be? Do you want to have $100 4 and 10? Do you want to have $25 hardways? What is it that you want to be playing that you prefer, and where you think you make your money? Is it Howard 6 and 8s? A lot of times I hear this a lot. Guys want to get to where they make a black chip. They're like, I just want to get my bets to where they make black chips. And so I hear that a lot, right? So if that's the case, what are you doing to get there, and how are you doing it to where you get there fast, right? For example, if you are trying to make black chips, right, this is what it takes to make a black chip, right? You have to have 55 on the 4 and 10, 75 there, 90 there. This is what it takes to make a black chip. Now that would be all in 8, 9, and 10 as well. So you have to get your bets to that point to make a black chip. And I hear this a lot, like a black chip, or when the tables used to be $5 tables and stuff, guys would be like, I'm just trying to get it to where I win a green chip every time. Yeah, it is asking why, absolutely. But that's also why I like to have the horn, guys. I like to have the horn covered. The horn is as likely as the 7, guys. It has the same number of combinations in it. So for the worries of the 7, or for the Darksiders, for the benefit of the 7, the horn is just as likely. So I like to play the horn myself. I actually really like it. And as long as you're not playing the field, there's no horn bet that isn't a large multiple, right? The smallest multiple is the C bet, right? It's 7 to 1. Now, some people play the world bet. And guys, I'm going to talk about the world bet a little bit. I'd never play the world bet. Never, ever, ever play the world bet, in my opinion, because if you're playing the world bet, the 7 that's part of that world bet is kind of taking away from everything. Is taking away from all the other bets, in my opinion. I actually think the world bet is one of the worst bets on the craps table, in my opinion. And I don't like how it's structured. I would much rather play, a lot of people play like a $5 world bet, you know. I would much rather just play the horn and not worry about the 7. I mean, what are you worried about the 7 that much for, that you have to get this little tiny hedge in the world bet for it? I just don't understand why people play the world bet. And maybe it's that I don't have it in any of my strategies, and so I don't really understand the value of it. And maybe there is a big value to it. I just don't know it. So it's kind of like this 6 and 8, where you see right here, this 6 and 8. A lot of people, every now and then, you'll see the people sitting on the corner. They'll be playing that bet. This bet makes no sense. Like, why would you ever play that bet? Because you can just play the 6 and 8. Honestly, like, some of the bets on the craps table are so odd to me why people would ever play it. Now, one of the bets that I really like that you see every now and then is the high-low bet. I actually love the high-low bet, right? Where you're giving up the 7 plus all those other numbers. But the thing I like about the high-low bet is when you run into this situation, right? Let's say you have this going on, right? Well, you can play the high as well. Like, you could play a $15 high, and it's kind of like the Iron Cross, almost. You don't obviously have the 2 and the 3, but these are covering that. I actually really like the high-low bet. I don't see it a lot. Every now and then I run across a table that has it. Another bet that I like is I like the field that's broken up into 3 fields. I like that bet. And the reason I like it is because, again, when you play if you can like just individualize that field, like the small part of the field here, you can not ever have to play those numbers and just play that field bet, and it kind of saves you money. It kind of saves you money in different ways. It's kind of like when I talk about playing the iron cross cheaper with the don't, right? If you have the 5, 6, or 8, the iron cross is actually cheaper to play because one of the numbers is the 7 now. And so you actually save money playing the iron cross in that case. But again, there's a lot of like these, what I'm saying is these other kind of novelty bets you find at different casinos. I find value in them, but I never find value in the world bet. Like I can't find the value in it. I don't understand the value of it. So like a lot of these bets I look for and I'm like, okay, I don't normally play this. Let's see what it's all about. And then a lot of times I run into it. It's really simple. The high-low bet is exactly what it says. You don't get the 7, and you either bet the dice are gonna be high or the dice are gonna be low, and so it's either 2 to 6 or 8 to 12. Yes, it's either 2 to 6 or 8 to 12. You don't get the 7. So it's actually from a probability standpoint, it's actually a terrible bet, right? Because you're losing the combinations on the 7 plus all the combinations on either the high or the low. So it's actually worse than the field, which in the big scheme of things, the field isn't a terrible bet. It's not an overly terrible bet, but the field is not a standalone bet, in my opinion. Like, I don't think you should just be playing the field all by itself, because at that point, you're essentially just giving up, a huge percentage of the game. You're just giving it away and saying, well, I only want to win on this. But the high-low, guys, I've only seen it in a couple places, so I don't think it's really common. Another one that I love the repeater bet, the repeater bonus bet. Like, I don't see it a lot where I'm at. Like, it's not a real common thing where I'm at. I only know of 2 casinos that even have it. But the thing about the repeater bet that's great to me is that if you'll play the repeater in the boxes, then it's just like the ATS with the hedge ability, right? You could hedge it, so in my opinion, the repeater bet makes a lot of sense to play, especially if you're going to play the 6 or the 8. Because I know it takes six sixes or 8s to win it, but if you're willing to do a few hedges, like if you're willing to hedge roll 4, 5, and 6, you should really never lose money as long as it gets 3 of them out of the way. But anyways, I've actually made a video on that a long time ago. I'm not going to go back through that right now. But there's definitely a lot of different angles that I don't see a lot of craps players play that I use. So one of the things is too, I know, yeah, I love that. You said something, Waylon, that you see the guys that play horn numbers all the time lose a lot. But if they're just playing the horn and not progressing it when they hit, then yeah. But if they're playing the horn all the time, let's say they're playing, a lot of people play a horn high yo. It seems to be real common. So they play like the $2 on the yo and then the $1 on each one. But if you hit 3 horn numbers in a row and you're parlaying it correctly, you can even take money out every hit and parlay it correctly. If you hit 3 horns in a row, you should make multiple hundreds of dollars. And it's actually pretty common to have 3 horns in a row. It's not all that uncommon. In a session, you'll probably see it twice. So playing it all the time, it just depends on are you playing it correctly. Now, if you're just playing a base bet on the horn all the time, yeah, you're just giving that money away because you're not, it's never going to catch itself. But like if you're playing the horn high yo, yeah, if you're not progressing it, you're just giving the money to the casino. But if you hit any of those numbers, you're going to win like $15 or whatever, maybe $27 or whatever it is. And then if you'll go like your next level is 20, and it rolls again, and then your next level after that would be 40 or maybe even in some cases like 48. Now when it hits that third time, you've made a bunch. Yeah. And guys, all these are just like weird little angles and weird little things that just a lot of people don't roll. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I see it. I see it quite a bit. I mean, I'm not going to say I haven't had times where I didn't get there. But I've definitely had a few of them like I've had a four in a row on a shooter, and then the next shooter did it again. So like I had four horns in a row on one shooter, and then the next shooter did it right after him, four in a row. And I was able to parlay it up and make a couple $100 in each time, which both shooters didn't hit very many box numbers in their shot. So I didn't make a ton of money, right? Because I had box numbers out as well. Uh, but I did save that money for me at least. I did profit some, but guys, that stuff happens, and as long as it's built into your strategies, right? It is weird how they come in pairs. That's a really weird thing. I totally agree with that. It's so weird how they come in pairs. I don't think I swear I see it a lot, and I know Waylon, you're agreeing with me here. And that's why I like always said see a horn, bet a horn early on in my craps channel because I would see this a lot. And I would be like, see a horn, bet a horn. And guys at the casino, I made a lot of money doing that. See a horn, bet a horn stuff. And I've had whole tables saying it with me before. So they catch on when I'm saying it because I'll holler it out. Guys, when I play craps, I like to talk at the table and I like to get other people involved because I know a lot of people are new a lot of times at the table or whatever. I'm trying to get them to pay attention to what I'm doing, right? Yeah. So I'm trying to get them to pay attention to exactly what I'm doing, and that way maybe they're gaining some knowledge, they're gaining some information. Maybe they follow me and we win a good bet. But there's been times like one time I was with Larry Holloway and my wife, and we're at Oaklawn here in Arkansas, and the roll went 10. The next roll was 11, and a guy next to my wife goes, "It's probably going to be a 12." That's all I needed to hear because I know people don't believe this. Everyone doesn't believe this, but guys, sometimes there's just feelings at the table that are true. And I took that $5 chip and I chucked it out there and I said midnight, and bam, what rolled a midnight? And was it luck? Yeah, absolutely. But something there told that guy to say that out loud. And when he said that out loud, I didn't hesitate and I ended up winning the $150. Now, would that win every time you did it? Of course not. But it won in that situation, right? And it's not like an unusual thing when that kind of stuff happens. Here's another one, right? How many times do you guys remember the dice going off the table and the next roll being a 7? That's a really common superstition, right? How many times? I mean, sure, everyone can be like, yeah, I've seen that a bunch. Or when the dealers switch out and there's a 7 the next roll. Or when the dealers really delay the game and there's a 7 the next roll. All right. Is this recency bias? Is it situational bias where we remember it because it was an odd situation, but we don't remember all the other ones? I don't know, but I know that Yeah, I know that sometimes on the craps table, man, gut feelings matter. And it's the way my wife plays. It's my wife will just go with her gut, and she plays pretty well. So I don't know. I totally agree with you, Fives. It is confirmation bias. It's a situational bias, but there's definitely some oddness to some of it. Like the horn numbers coming in rows in order, back to back horns. Uh, it's odd, right? It's odd that it works so much. So I don't know, but that's just kind of weird pseudo crap stuff. Well, I absolutely agree. I mean, you have 84% chance that it's not going to be a seven. So, yeah, I mean, 84% of the time it's not. So, but it's all kind of pseudo craps. Anytime you're talking about like any of that kind of thing, it's like a pseudo craps. It's a superstition. Uh, it's similar to kind of what dice control is, right? Yeah, you can definitely bank on that seven. Dice control is like pseudo craps. I've said this before, right? Where, in my opinion, there's value to dice control, but not how a lot of people think, right? Like I don't personally use dice control to win at craps. Like I don't think I'm manipulating the game so far in my favor that I'm beating it by throwing the dice correctly. But it's a comfort level thing, right? Like if I've practiced this at home a million times and at home it seems like I do this well with it, then when I go to the casino, it's a comfort level. Like, okay, hey, this works there, it's going to work here. And it's a mindset, it's a comfort level. Does it work any better or worse? Probably not than if I just chunked them down the table, obviously. But it's the comfort, right? It's the comfort level, the ability to be comfortable in making larger bets and to be comfortable in uh, the way you play your strategy. And so that's what it mostly is for me, as opposed to like thinking I'm manipulating the game. In fact, honestly, if I feel like if you feel like you're manipulating the game with your dice control, and that's your strategy essentially, the basis of your craps play is that you're relying on controlling the dice, you're probably going to lose. And this isn't me trying to be anti something. It's just that if you're relying on that, that's too much human element. There's way too much human element in that. Even if it is possible, even if you're the best in the world at it, it's way too much human element. So e- even if all those things are true and you are that great at it, it's still you're still relying on everything going correctly when you don't have to. And that's kind of what's odd to me. And that's one of the things that I kind of try to steer new craps players away from trying to dice control. I try to steer them to trying to play the game with a consistency as far as strategy goes, and not be afraid of the don't be afraid to play the don't. That's one of the things it's hard to teach new craps players is not to be afraid to play the don't. um, but I try to steer them away from the dice control first. Now almost all craps players end up in that dice control camp at some time, and a lot of them come out of it and a lot of them stay in it, but at some time usually they end up there. And uh, and then they decide whether they believe it or not, or whether they use it or not, or whatever the case may be. But if you're a new craps player, my best advice to you is to play the don't and play the six and eight. If every time you walked up to the table you said a don't and you played the six and eight, and you just half press the six and eight, you're probably going to do pretty well. Uh, it's just the nature of what you're doing. It's the nature of the probability that you'll win. right? So if you get a don't set, let's say you get a don't set on 5, you played the 6 and 8, you have 16 ways to roll a winner, right? As long as your 7 outweighs your 6 and 8, which it always should. Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree. Well, another thing that's really funny to me is almost all of the ATS wins, where I'm talking about the person got all of the numbers, have almost always been just guys just throwing them down the table. I mean, very rarely do I see someone that's practicing dice control at the table make an ATS. Very rarely. I have seen it, and I've done it myself, practicing that style of throw. But most of the time, I see it won, or even just one side of it won, by people just throwing the dice, just ripping them down the table. So, again, it's one of those things where, in my opinion, if you're going to use it, you should use it as a comfort level. That is very true, Fives. Discipline is the key to it all. If you're disciplined, you'll win a lot. You'll win a whole bunch of times. Another thing discipline does is it keeps you from losing a lot. You on the bad days, if you're very disciplined and you know the day is going bad and you're willing to leave with a small loss as opposed to a large loss, you're going to be much better off. And these are all things that are totally legit and totally real. Yeah, he rolls a ton. He does roll a ton of 4s and 10s. It's crazy. Yeah, so Waylon, I don't know if you know how much you've dealt with Greg or whatever, but me and Greg have had an email contact for a long time now. And we've ran a lot of stuff by each other and stuff. And when he rolls out my anything but 10 thing, right? Yeah, absolutely. The anything but 10 thing, the first couple times he's just wiping it out on the 10. He's just 10 after 10 after 10. And he's kind of like, well, this really isn't working, Wager. He's like, this really doesn't work. But it's just funny. Like, it is odd, like the sheer number of those numbers that he seems to roll. It's crazy how it's weird, right? We watch his videos and we see this, and it's like a repeated thing. It's not just like he did it in one video one time. uh he actually just like does it all the time. It's kind of odd. But anyways, guys, it's late for me. I'm gonna go to bed. It was great talking to you, great hanging out with you, and this was a really good March Madness for me. I think I only had 2 bad days and then a bunch of really good days. So and then the championship game topped it off with a 3-0 day. Hopefully some people got on that. Yeah, that's a really great strategy, by the way, Waylon. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. You guys have a great day, and I'll try to be on more often again. And I actually bought a new craps felt, guys. It's on its way. It's actually from a casino in Biloxi, and it has the ATS on it and all that cool stuff. So I'm going to have to build a new table and all that cool stuff. So that's pretty neat. It's supposed to be coming in the next day or two. So we'll have that coming. But anyways, you guys have a great day.